I'm only 4 minutes late. So, evening, everybody. I have the chat turned on. So, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I will attempt to answer as best I can. Can everybody hear me okay? I believe I have everything turned on here. Somebody fire off a comment. I don't know if I. There we go. Okay, here we go. All right. Thank you very much. This is my first live YouTube live cast thing. So excuse me for being late. I couldn't find the start button. Fabulous. I direct races. I don't do YouTubing stuff. So try and keep this as brief as possible. Again, if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. If there's I lose track or something, ask the question twice. I don't know. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to all the volunteers. Fred, that was water. Thank you to the board, the Badger board, especially. Hang on. Do we need reusable cups for aid stations? Let's hold off on the Q&A until I get done running my mouth. No, you don't. You can certainly bring a reusable cup if you want, but let's hold off on the Q&A until we're done because I keep getting distracted. I know I'm terrible at this. I'm easily distracted. Thank you to the Badger board, and thank you to all the sponsors like Runner Soul, best shoe store in Eastern Washington, McCurley, Subaru, all kinds of other sponsors we have. Some of them have donated prizes that we can give away in a raffle. I got 4 prizes to give away, and I will call out some random names here shortly. So fabulous prizes, and you can pick up your prize at Packet Pickup. So if you're running the 50 or the 100 miler, your packet pickup is on Thursday, as you know, or at the start if you can't make it on Thursday. If you're doing the 55K or the 15K, you can packet pickup is on Friday at Runner Soul. Okay. Who am I? If you don't know me, name's Jason. I've been trail running for about 14, 15 years or so. And I attempted a 100 miler in 2010 and DNF'd spectacularly. And a friend of mine named Brandon started up a new race called the Badger Mountain Challenge. And the first year of it was 2011. And I ran the 100 as my second attempt at 100. And I ran it in 2011. And that was my first finish. And that's my buckle. It says on the back, 2011. So that is my buckle that I won or was given for coming in DFL. And if you don't know what DFL stands for, email me and I'll let you know. But there was 27 starters that year and only 17 finishers. And I know that because I was 17th place. But it doesn't matter because I finished. And I learned a lot, and I went on to do a bunch more 100 milers. But point is that if I can do a 100 miler and I can finish one, then anybody can. I've never really taken this training too seriously. You just have to be stubborn, and you have to have your head in the right place, and you can finish 100. Or if this is your first 50 miler, you can finish your 50 miler too. Okay. Enough about that. Be sure and thank a volunteer. That is always rule number 1 that we talk about. Thank a volunteer. If you don't, then I will scold you at the finish line. Volunteers, everybody in this race is a volunteer, including me. Be sure and thank them because without them, we would not have a race. They are taking time away from their schedule. Some of them are taking days off work. They're using PTO. They're using their own money. They're burning their own gas. Some of them are cooking their own food and bringing it and serving it at the aid stations. And we're talking about food that I haven't The race hasn't supplied. So these are amazing people, and you will be nice to them, even if you're feeling crappy, and even if you're feeling like you just want to die. I don't care. Be nice to the volunteers and thank them profusely. They are amazing, and you got to remember that. Okay. Let's get to the nitty gritty here. As one of a couple good things actually came out of COVID, and one of them was one of the few things that was good was runners are gross. Don't forget that. Runners are disgusting, and if you're a runner, you're disgusting. So don't touch the food at the aid stations. That's always been a rule at Badger. When you get to an aid station, you will ask the volunteer, who, by the way, is the best person on the planet, and they will hand you something. And here's how you fill your water bottle. Yes, I'm old school. I use these. You hold out your water bottle like so, and the volunteer will fill it up with a pitcher. You don't go touch the pitcher. You don't get to touch the jug thingy, the Gatorade jug filler thing. Just ew. Keep your gross hands to yourself. Hold out your bottle, let them fill it, say, I want that, and I want that, and I want that. And thank you for being a volunteer, and be on your merry way. And don't throw up on the volunteers either. That's not cool. Okay, we talked about that. There are no wave starts this year. So the first time since 2019, we are not doing wave starts. We have mass start at 7 a.m. for the 1,500 milers, and on Saturday at 7 a.m. for the 55K, and 9 o'clock for the 15K. We do have a 1 hour early start. If you want to do the early start, all you got to do is just show up, but be there in time to start at 6 a.m. for the early start and 7 a.m. for the regular start. There are no chips on your bibs. Your bibs do not have chips on them. We had chip timing in prior years because of the wave starts, but this year we're not. We're just doing unchipped bibs. So you're either going to have a 6 a.m. start time or a 7 a.m. start time. And if you miss your 6 a.m. start time, then you're going to have to wait till 7. So no wave starts. I know half the people are happy about that. Half the people aren't. That's the way it is. So wave starts were a nightmare for my timer guy and for me, and logistically, they were real pain. And we're moving on. Okay, crews. If you want, hi, Chris. No, I'm not handsome. If you want to have a crew help you out on the course, that's fantastic. That's a very good idea. There's a couple places that crews are allowed. They're allowed at the start finish, obviously. They are allowed at Candy Mountain, which is only 3.5, 4 miles from the start. You should need a crew by then. Coming back on the way, if you're finishing and you're really dragging, it would be nice to have a crew there to give you a kick in the pants to get you back up over Badger for the last 4 miles to the finish. But keep in mind that the parking lot at Candy is not very big, and there's a lot of cars that come and go on Dallas Road. And there's also people running on the road to get to the parking lot. So the less traffic we have going to Candy, the better, because, I don't want my runners getting run over. That's bad. So aside from Candy, again, I'm talking about on the way out on Candy is going to be hundreds of cars going. So try not to go to Candy, but on the way back, everyone will be all spread out. So it makes sense if you want to stop and see your runner at Candy, you can, because on the way back, all the runners will be like way spread out. Jacobs Road is the next aid station, and we had problems in the past with too many vehicles at Jacobs Road aid station. It was just way too many cars, and that is a vineyard maintenance road, and it's also a driveway for some people that live down that road. So we're keeping all the crew cars off that dirt road. Not to mention there's runners. There's going to be a lot of runners on Friday morning, a lot. So we want to keep the vehicle traffic to a minimum on Jacobs. For starters, it's like a 45-mile-an-hour road. There's going to be a couple hundred people running on it. And there's really no reason for you to go there because you can't see a runner at the aid station anyway. So McBee Parking is the next place you can see your runner. And that is mile 18 and a half if you're outbound, and mile 31 or so if you're coming back towards the start finish. That's the best place to see your runner. And that's also where your drop bag is. So crews, go to McBee Parking, park on the side of the road. Don't block the road. Don't park off the road. We don't want you damaging the flora, the local flora. Bureau of Land Management owns all the ground around the aid station, and they get very upset when we drive over the top of the little flowers. So please don't drive off the road when you're at McBee. That's a great place to see your runner, like I said. And they come through each loop. All the runners come through McBee twice. So while you're waiting at McBee, you see your runner go through on the way up. You can go to Anulare Winery, which is about a quarter mile away from the aid station, and you can get a wood-fired pizza and a glass of wine, and sit there and enjoy the beauty of the Horse Heaven Hills. And then you can watch your runner come back through, and you can taunt them with your wonderful pizza and glass of wine, and they really have very good pizza. And so I recommend it. I'd go there and enjoy yourself while you watch your runner go at McBee. So when you go to check in to pick up your packet pickup, you can pick up packets for other runners. That's certainly okay. You will have your bib in your packet and some other goodies. We do have some swag that we've thrown into the bags. The 100-mile runners will have a red bib as usual. 50-mile will have blue. 55K will have yellow, and those are the same colors we use every year. But we have added a new distance, or a challenge, I should say. There's the double. If you sign up for the 50-mile and the 55K, you will get a green bib. So if you see a green bib on Friday morning or on Saturday morning, give that person a good job and a congrats and a high five, because they're running the double. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, weather. Let's move on. Weather is supposed to be, fingers crossed, it's supposed to be 55, high 50s during the day. The weather actually looks nice, cloudy and breezy, but not windy. Not super windy, but breezy, which I'll take. That's great. If you've ever been here for a very windy year, you know how terrible it can really be. But it will be cold overnight. So it's going to be very, very cold overnight. It's supposed to get down around freezing on Friday night, early Saturday morning. So make sure and bring some very warm clothes. If you're volunteering or if you're going to be crewing, you better have some very warm clothes and bundle up. Bring some blankets. If you got some yucky old like dog blankets, you can bring those, and those are great because you don't got to worry about getting dirty, and you can wrap up your hypothermic runner in a dog blanket. Those are awesome to have. I've got a bunch that I'm going to bring to the start finish, and they do smell like my dog. So be prepared for the weather. It could be very, very cold up on top of McBee Ridge. So you've been warned. Be sure and dress for it. Even if you're comfortable and warm down at McBee Parking, by the time you get to the top of the ridge, it's a completely different world up there. It could be blowing 10, 20 miles an hour more than at the bottom. And it will be very cold, and there's no break from the wind. It's the whole time you're up on the ridge, you're going to be up there for about 9 total miles, and it'll be very cold. You can ditch your jacket when you get back to your drop bag. At packet pickup, I never finished this. When you get to packet pickup, you will have a tag in your goodie bag. Again, red for 100, blue for 50, yellow for 55K, and this will go on your drop bag. You can write your bib number on there and your name if you want in Sharpie. And these are color coded so that our wonderful volunteers can find your bag when you're brain dead and completely helpless. They can help look at your bib number and look at go find this and bring you your bag for you. At Packet Pickup, you can also get your camping pass if you need a camping pass. $10 cash. This is an envelope. You can get these at Packet Pickup if you're camping. You can also get Pacer bib. If you have a Pacer, you can get your Pacer bib. You can even get a special handmade one. Okay, McBee drop bags and also Jacobs Road drop bags for the 55K runners. Let's talk about drop bags. When you get to your aid station where you have your drop bag, you're going to see two different piles of drop bags. So you have drop bags that are staying here and drop bags to return to finish. If you are going to see your drop bag again and need it a second or third or fourth time, make sure that you put it in this pile. When you are done, if you're doing the 50 mile, that means the second time you use your drop bag, you can put it in this pile. If you're doing the 100, that means the fourth time you're done with your drop bag, you put it in this pile. If you don't, and you leave it in this pile, it's going to sit there because our wonderful volunteers, did I mention they're awesome? Our wonderful volunteers will be picking up drop bags when they have time from this pile. If it's in this pile, they leave it alone. So if you want your drop bag to go home and you're done with it, put it over there and it'll come back. It might even beat you back to the finish, depending on how fast you are. If you leave it here and then you drop out or you forget to put it in the right pile, it ain't coming home. And one option is to go get it yourself or wait until the end of the race and it will magically make its way back to the park. I think that's it for the props. Okay, that's enough of that nonsense. Course markings. Oh, no, I have more props. Here's what you're going to look for. We marked part of the course today. We marked the Jeep trails and parts of the other backside of Candy. A few other sections have been marked already. You're going to see a lot of these, and some of these have reflectors on them. These are nice. They clip to sagebrush and whatnot. And you're also going to see lots and lots of pink flags. Pink flags, there you go. The reflector. These are really, really reflective. So make sure you have a good headlamp. And we also have the non-reflective ones too, kind of a mix of all of them. The reflector ones are only as good as your headlamps. So make sure you have fresh batteries and a nice bright headlamp. And we'll get on to headlamp etiquette here shortly. One thing about course marking at Badger is if you've ever run a West Side race, you're used to looking in trees, and they hang these in trees, and you get to look at eye level, and there's all these course markings are up here in this eye level range. When you're doing Badger, that's not so much the truth because everything is approximately knee high or lower. So all this stuff is going to be down below your knee. Get used to looking down for flags. When you get to an intersection, a fork in the trail, whatever, if you don't know the route really well and you're not sure, stand there, look around, look for the flags. I guarantee you they will be there. If you run for quite a long time and you have not seen a flag, chances are you're lost, which is like free added bonus miles. So you can turn around and go back if you like. We try to put confidence markers every quarter to half mile. There's so many intersections on this course that there is a ton of flags and ribbons out there. There's very few areas where you go a long ways without seeing a flag or a ribbon. Again, when you get to an intersection, pay attention. There will be markings there. Lots of times people miss turns because they get zoned out and they just keep going straight and they blow right through a fork in the trail or an intersection. And turns out they were supposed to have turned and they missed it because they didn't look up and look around to see where the flags and reflectors are at. So pay attention at the forks in the trail. if you have a pacer, make that their job. That's right, Katie. No bonus miles. If you have a pacer, make that their job. Say, look for these flags because I'm so tired. I've been out here for 14 hours and I can't hold my head up anymore. So I'm zombie walking, and make the pacer look for the flags and make them responsible for that. One thing that does happen with pacers and runners is they'll get to talking, and they're talking about this and talking about that and gossiping and stuff, and they're busy looking at each other and talking, and they go right by an intersection that was flagged for them to turn at. I've seen it happen. I've witnessed it happen, and I've done it myself. I got lost. I'm not so proud to admit I got lost last weekend in the vineyards because I was talking, of all things, and I missed a turn and blew right by, and I got lost in the vineyards. So we'll talk about the vineyards here in a second. But again, pay attention to the course. You can jibber jabber all you want, but always have eyes up looking for the flags and reflectors and whatnot. Yeah, that's right, Darren. They get distracted taking selfies. That's what we do. Okay. We can go over the course here. I'm not bright enough to know how to share my screen on YouTube, so I'm going to do it the old school way. I am going to take you on a tour of our wonderful course. So here we are at the start finish. Okay, that's right there. There's your start finish. That's on Badger Mountain in the park. You're going to go up and over Badger, and it's a very nice trail. It's nice and flat. It's buttery. It's got all kinds of gravel, and it's just a wonderful trail. It's very well groomed. And then you drop down here to the parking lot on the backside of Badger. This is called Westgate. And you will get down onto Dallas Road. This is your first road section. You can see it's about a quarter mile, third of a mile, Dallas Road. That's it. It's paved. It's got a very wide shoulder, and it will be marked for you, so it will be safe. You're going to turn. You're going to go up this road to Candy Mountain. That's where that little parking lot is at that I don't want everybody to park at and get overwhelmed. Front side of Candy Mountain is also very well groomed. It's got nice wide gravel trails. They're maintained by Friends of Badger Mountain. All this trails maintained by Friends of Badger. They're wonderful, beautiful trails. You get to the top of Candy, and that's where the wonderful, beautiful, buttery, nice gravel trails end. And then you come down the backside. The backside is very steep. There are no switchbacks. It is very rocky and pretty unforgiving. You're going to come down the backside. You're going to drop through the culvert. That's right. You get to go through the culvert. It's a lot of fun. Pop to the culvert. Some people like to take a headlamp or a flashlight. You don't need it, but it is nice to have in case you're scared of the dark or whatever. I don't think the clown lives in there anymore. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Anyway, now you're on your second road section. You're on Jacobs Road. This is the longest road section of the race. This is a little over 2 miles long. The first mile, you will be on the shoulder of the road. And then right about here, you drop down onto a dirt road that parallels the paved road. And the dirt road is a vineyard maintenance road. You're going to follow it. You're going to get to Jacobs Road aid station. This is mile 10. You're at mile 10 right now. Now you enter the Endless Vineyards. They're called the Endless Vineyards because they're only about 4 miles, 3.5, 4 miles long, but it feels like about 20. So the trick with the Endless Vineyards is you always keep the vineyards on one side and sagebrush on the other. There is no point in the Endless Vineyards when you are ever inside the vineyards. You don't ever have vineyards on both sides of you, and that's exactly what I did last weekend because I wasn't paying attention. Keep the vineyards on one side, sagebrush on the other, follow the flags, and you will get to where are we at? Here we are. Demoralizing Hill. You'll know it when you see it. The nice, relatively flat, rolling hills of the Endless Vineyards will give way to the Jeep trails, and right there is where you start Demoralizing Hill. And again, you'll know when you see it, straight down, straight up, and then you go into the Jeep trails, and then you come to Orchard Aid Station, and this is manned by Ian, or I forgot to say, Jacobs is manned by Jack, He's a wonderful, wonderful volunteer. And so is Ian. Ian is out here in the middle of the Jeep Trail. It's a little oasis for you. You can go ahead and get your bottles filled up, but don't put your nasty hands in the M&Ms. Say hi to Ian, and then continue on. This is Goose Hill is the name of the hill. Continue on the Jeep Trails, and you are going to get to this little reroute that we have here. There is a gravel pit right here that has expanded and wiped out the original route for Badger Mountain Challenge. So now we have to do this little hill here, which we've affectionately nicknamed Pointless. So you're going to go up and across Pointless and drop back down and then continue on. And then you get to the 55K turnaround. And there used to be an aid station here, but there's not. So don't bother looking for it. There's a large parking area here. On Saturday, the 55K runners will turn around here, obviously. And so they have to go back through the Jeep Trails because they're so lucky. But if you're doing the 50 or the 100, you can have crew here if you'd like. There's plenty of space here for crew cars. It's not an aid station. You will continue on. But we do have a new addition of a gas station. We have a gas station on the course now. So if you want to stop and get yourself a soda or a microwave burrito or some pizza or a beer or whatever, you can certainly do so at the gas station. You are now back on the third road section of the race. This is the third road section. This is Weber Canyon Road. You're going to continue up Weber Canyon, take a right on McBee Road, and continue up here. And this section is about, I believe, a little over a mile. This chunk of road is. You're going to get to McBee Parking Aid Station. That's where your drop bag is at your home away from home. That is going to be captained by John. And John is also a 100-mile veteran. He's one of our amazing volunteers. So say hi to John. Now the real climb starts. You get to go up McBee Ridge. You get to go up super steep climb. Gains 1,000 feet in 0.8 miles. You heard me right. You get to the top here. And now you're at the ridge. You're at McBee Ridge. You're going to turn right. Okay. You have to pay attention here. There is a sign here telling you which way to go. And there's also a nice spot that you can drop your poles. If you want to drop your climbing poles off, there's a large metal canister behind the big metal sign that you can put your poles at. Continue on out McBee Ridge, and you keep on trucking. You're going to get to McBee Road. Pay attention. You have to cross the road, kind of do a little button hook thing to get back on. Continue out the ridge. Again, this is all trail. It's very rocky. If it's windy, it's very windy. If it's cold, it's very cold. And you get out here to Chandler Butte, and you're at the high point on the course. This is the highest spot on the course. Mike is your aid station captain here, and he's a wonderful volunteer. He is out here every year, no matter what the weather, and he's out here, and he's got a wonderful setup so you can step out of the wind for a minute if it's windy. You can get all replenished, and you can get your soup and a grilled cheese and tell him that he is the most awesome volunteer ever. And then you turn around, you go back down and head on back down, get back to the road. You're going to cross the road and continue out the ridge, and you come back to the spot where you climbed to the top of the hill. This is where you're going to get your poles. You can pick your poles back up because we're not going to bring them back to you. But you do not go back down the way you came up. You don't go down that super steep climb. You take a right and you continue on. You keep going along the ridge. You go about 3/4 of a mile and along the ridge, and then you will see the single track, and you fork off and take a left, and you're now on the single track, and you get to run some awesome, amazing single track that is a perfect downhill grade to really fly all the way down, back down to McBee Parking. So this is a lot of fun to run. This section here is really cool. And then you're back at McBee Parking. You can visit your drop bag again. Say hi to your crew while they're sitting there eating pizza and drinking wine. And then you can head on back. And I'm not going to go back over the course again, but it's out and back course, obviously, and all the way back to the start at Badger. Okay. All right, enough of that. So there you go. There's the course. Headlamps. We talked a little bit about this. Make sure you have good batteries. Take extra batteries with you in case your batteries go kaput. We do have batteries at the aid station, but if we run out, make sure that you have the right size and that they're fresh. Porta potties. We will have porta potties on the course. There's at the start, Candy Mountain. Oh wait, I missed one. At the start, at the backside of Badger, there is also an aid station there, or a porta potty. My bad. Can't go to Candy Mountain. There's porta potties. Jacobs Road will have porta potty. McBee parking. And now a recent addition that started last year, and we're going to have it again this year, is we have porta potty even all the way out at Chandler Butte, which is not easy to get to. It was 4-wheel drive out there. So be sure and thank the volunteers again for being amazing. And we have not done the raffle drawing. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. Got a random number generator here. I'm going to randomly generate my number, and I've got 154. Let's see which runner number 154 is. Number 154, I'm looking at a spreadsheet here, is Rebecca Hoefs, Hoefs, from North Bend. So Rebecca, if you're paying attention, you just won a 1-hour massage. Let's see where I've got that at. Rebecca, that's yours, 1-hour massage. Yes, it is at a local place. It's from Laughing Elephant Yoga and Massage. And you can collect on that here when you pick up your packet. So that's amazing. So we've got more prizes. We'll get to that here in a second. Congratulations, Rebecca. I hope I didn't say your name wrong. Okay, where are we at here? Moon dust. There is it has rained a lot, but we marked the Jeep trails today, and it should be okay. It shouldn't be too bad. But we're not supposed to get much rain this week, so it could get dusty. I recommend really having baby wipes and a fresh pair of socks waiting for you at McBee parking. If you're doing the 50K, you can have baby wipes and clean socks waiting for you at Jacobs at your drop bag. Also was told that the backside of Candy has got moon dust too. So I highly, highly recommend baby wipes. I'm reading the comments. Hi, Dexter. No, there's no limit to the number of selfies. Baby wipes and clean socks. It's not as bad as it has been on other years. On other years, it was talcum powder, and it was terrible. But the Jeep trails are notorious for being really, really dusty. So make sure that you can give your feet some relief because it's like sandpaper in your socks. But it's not terrible again, but I went out through the Jeep trails all the way, marked them, and all the way back. And that's only 7.5 miles, and my feet were filthy and also a little tore up. So change your socks and use baby wipes. Let's do a second prize. Random number generator. Number 11, we have yoga classes. We've got yoga again from Laughing Elephant Yoga and Thai. 3 yoga classes. How awesome. Isn't that cute? Look, that's adorable. So 3 and number 11 is runner. Let me find out who number 11 is. Jacob Dzinski from Bozeman, Montana. So if you know anybody local here, Jacob, you can gift those to somebody. So there you go. You can pick those up at your packet pickup. Dropping out at the 50-mile mark. If you're a 100-miler, no, Joe, we don't poop on the rocks. If you're a 100 miler and you get to the turnaround, you've done your 50-mile loop and you get to the start finish and you're not feeling good, you're cold, you're tired, your feet hurt, and you have a tummy ache. Sit down, change your socks, wipe your feet up, put on some warm clothes, get something to eat, get some soup, get a sandwich, fill your bottles up, and get out of town. I do not want you dropping at the 50-mile mark. If you try to drop out, I will do my best to lecture you and tell you why that's a bad idea. So do not drop out at the 50-mile mark. Unless something has gone catastrophically wrong. I have seen the dead come back to life many, many times where maybe you need a nap, take a 20-minute nap. Wrap yourself up in a blankie. You can have something to eat and drink. Get some food, get some calories in you, but don't stay too long because you're going to get cold and you're going to be really, really grumpy. So you have to have it in your head when you get to the 50-mile turnaround that I am leaving. And you have to have that in your head early on in the race, like at the start line. When you get to the 50-mile mark, you have to know in your brain that you are going to leave. I'm not going to stay here. I am not going to have a pity party. I'm going to change my socks. I'm going to put on some warm clothes. I'm going to put on my warm fuzzy hat and some warm fuzzy socks and my gloves, and I'm going to head back out and be awesome. And I will finish off this 100-miler, and I will get this amazing, awesome buckle. So I want everybody who entered the 100 to finish the 100. But if something catastrophic has gone wrong, you're not feeling it, you got the barfies because you didn't eat enough early on, or something terrible has happened, or you're injured, which that's no joke, and you have to drop out at the 50-mile mark, then you can. You get a 50-mile medal and you get an official 50-mile finish. But if you leave, here's the trick. Here's the trick with Badger. If you leave the 50-mile mark and leave the park and you go one more mile out of that park and then you drop, you get nothing. You get DNF. So that's the trick with Badger. If you want a 50-mile finish and you're not feeling it and you've left the park, you better keep on going and just keep on trucking and keep eating, keep drinking, take care of your feet, and come on back to the start finish and get a 100-mile finish. That's the only thing I can say is from the word go, from the gun goes off, you have to know in your head that you will leave that 50-mile turnaround. There's nothing more important than that. No matter how crappy you feel. If you feel crappy, let's talk about that. That means you haven't been eating. That means you haven't been getting your calories. Maybe you haven't been drinking enough. It will be a little warm on Friday. It's supposed to be in the upper 50s, which doesn't sound warm. But if you've been training all winter and you've been running in 20, 30 degree weather, and all of a sudden the sun comes out and we have blue skies and you get very, very, it's also very dry. You can hear it in my voice. You will need to drink a lot. Welcome to Eastern Washington. This is a desert. My throat's all tore up, and that was from 7.5 miles of dust. So imagine how you're going to feel after 50. You need to eat a lot. You need to drink a lot. You need to take care of your feet, and you need to do this before you feel crappy. If you feel crappy, you waited too long. Congratulations. If your feet are tore up, that means you didn't take care of them. You've got to do this stuff early. If your feet don't feel like crap, take care of them. If your gut doesn't feel like crap, eat something. If you don't feel dehydrated, drink something. Be smart, be proactive. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait until you're vomiting. Don't wait until you have blisters. Take care of this stuff because 100 miles on these trails ain't easy. It's very dirty. It's very rocky. It's very uneven. Chances are you're going to trip and fall. There's more bloody knees and tore up hands at the finish line at Badger than any other race anywhere. You've got to be smart. You've got to be tough, and you have to know in your head that I'm going to leave that 50-mile turnaround. The year we went from a 100-mile course to two 50-mile loops, our finish rate went from about 70% down to 33. So for the next 3 years with 250-mile loops, we had a 33% finish rate, and that was in 2014, 15, 16. In 2017, people started to figure it out. They're like, I have got to get tough, and I've got to leave that start finish. So that year, we also had good weather that year too. Finish rate bounced up to about 50, 55%. And that's where it stayed every year, even last year. I think it was 52 or 3%. So that's too many people dropping out. You can do this. Go out very slow and conservatively. Go out, don't go out fast, stay in your own head. Everybody takes off too fast. Let them go. Run your own race. The aid stations will be there. Don't worry. I've seen 100 different times where you let somebody run away from you, and by the time you catch up to them, they're burned out and they're the ones puking in the sagebrush, and you're still feeling good because you were smart. So go out slow, be conservative, walk all the uphills, right, Ben? Walk all the uphills, hike them, run the downhills, take care of yourself, and do what you need to do. Okay. I think that might be the end of me running my mouth. We're 45 minutes in. If anybody has any questions, you can certainly throw them. Chris, I know you feel crappy, and I'm sorry. Wrap a hot towel around your head. If anybody has any questions, go ahead. And hi, John. John Carpenter chimed in. He is the aid station captain this year at McBee Parking, and he is your hero. So tell John I said hi. He's a number one amazing volunteer. So he says, don't beat yourself up by quitting. If there's time left, keep moving. You're exactly right. If there's still time on the clock and you haven't been timed out and the sweepers haven't swept you, keep going. I don't care. You will feel better. I've come back from the dead. I've seen people come back from the dead. You've got to just keep moving. Trust the process. Keep eating. Keep drinking. I've run a lot of races where I felt horrible. I thought I was going to die. And 6 hours later, I was running. I've had, and I know John's been through this too. Other people have been through this too, where you just got to keep moving, keep eating, keep drinking, etc. What's the farthest registered runner away from this year? Any out of the country? We have a lot of Canadians, which is awesome because now the border's open. We got Canadians coming back. I know there are a bunch from Montana. Now that we're no longer a top tier UTMB qualifier, we don't get people from all over the world like we used to, which is fine. But I am not sure. I think we have some Texas runners, maybe some East Coast, but not a bunch. But I will look and find out and let you know. What's the secret swag for the 50, 55K runners? Derek, it's a secret. I can't tell you. If you finish the 50, 55K race, you do get a special prize, and it's a secret, and it is awesome. Race director's preferred brand of beer. Thank you, Darren. You're correct. It is Rainier. This is protein shake. Christy says, hi. When will the volunteers hear about tasks and assignments? Allison is going to be emailing everybody, I think today and tomorrow, about assignments. And the all volunteer meeting is Thursday night. We'll be doing this YouTube nonsense again, live from the parking lot at Badger Mountain on Thursday night. Somebody did come from Florida, says Fred. That's awesome. Are you required to wear reflective material facing in all directions? Yeah, because Jacobs Road is open to traffic, and there's a mile or so of Jacobs Road where you're on the shoulder of the road. So yeah, you really need to have some reflective. Most running vests, most shoes, most stuff, especially the back of the running vest, has got reflective stuff on it. If not, get some. Lots of running jackets have reflective stripes on them. Headlamps, obviously, are bright. Oh yeah, talk about headlamps here too. I missed that. Lots of them have a blinky light on the back. Get a blinky light for your pack, stick it on there, and have your pacer help you in the middle of the night. Pay attention on Jacobs Road because there's not hardly any traffic on it. There's almost no traffic on Jacobs. I guarantee you, if there is traffic, it's crew because almost nobody drives on Jacobs. That's one of the nice things about it. But it's only a mile and a quarter. You're on the pavement. Pay attention, follow the flags, and you'll be safe. Volunteer emails are going out today and tomorrow, says Todd. Todd is one of my right hands, and he's also on the board. And he's amazing. He's my schmoopy. What brand of gels? We have Honey Stinger and we have Goo, all sorts of flavors. Katie says, will Orchard and Jacobs have enough caffeine soda to survive the 55K runners? Oh, of course. We were buying extra soda. We're buying extra everything this year. We got regular Coke, Mountain Dew, and ginger ale. Ian says, running on the road up down Weber Canyon. Yeah, there's a wide shoulder on Weber Canyon that you will run up after you leave where the 55K turnaround. You will come up Weber Canyon. Like I said, it's about 1.25 miles from there that you're on pavement up to McBee parking. That's it. And the last stretch of McBee Road, this piece is all gravel. And I think that's probably not even a 1/2 mile. And that's 1/2 mile or so of pavement. So just keep your wits about you and face traffic as you're on the road. Please consider those who are light reared to avoid blinky lights. Oh, yeah. Headlamps. I've been talking too much. When you get to an aid station, turn your headlamp off. They have lights there. They got lanterns. Plus, I've worked enough aid stations when somebody comes in with a headlamp and they've got it in your eyes, you've lost your night vision. You can't see anything. If you see somebody doing this while you're talking to them, that's a hint. Turn the thing down or turn it off or take it off or whatever. But don't walk up to a volunteer with your headlamp on. It's very annoying. And you're on out and back sections of the course. When you're approaching another runner, if you've got one of those crazy 700 lumen headlamps, Kogala thingies, flip it down or turn it down or something like that so you don't blind the poor guy. Yes, there will be hummus avocado wraps at McBee. I'm glad they saved you on the Jeep trails. What brand of electrolyte? Again, we've got Goo, Roctane, Lemon Berry is the flavor for electrolyte drink. Todd gave me the hat off his head last year, which is 100% part of my success, says Ben. Hopefully you gave the hat back. Hopefully you washed it. Joe says, can we get a brief explanation of the new trail on the backside of Candy? Yes, you can. Tom says, will we need a reusable cup for aid stations? No. Again, you can certainly bring your own reusable cup if you want to. That's fantastic. But we do have 4.5 million paper cups in case you're wanting to go that route. Lots of people like to use their own reusable cup. And that's cool. We haven't made the leap to a reusable cup race. We've toyed with the idea, but we do have a lot of paper cups. So you can go either way, but it's not required. Joe, you asked a question about the backside of Candy. I'm sorry. Yes, there is a new trail on the backside of Candy Mountain. To elaborate a little bit, let me run my mouth here some more. Candy Mountain is a prime example of why Badger is what it is. The whole point of Badger Mountain Challenge is to enjoy all these open spaces and local trails that we have while we have them, because they're disappearing. Badger Mountain and the front side of Candy are preserved, so they're never going anywhere. The back side of Candy and pretty much the whole rest of the course belongs to private owners, state agencies, and federal agencies. McBee is all BLM. I'm not too worried about it, but all the Jeep trails, all of it is DNR property, which means it could be farmed, it could be mined. For example, there's a gravel pit and orchards and whatnot, all DNR property. So we're out there trying to enjoy it while we're there. Backside of Candy Mountain, to answer your question, Joe, is a combination of private property and DNR, and it is being farmed. And that's what they are allowed to do. They are putting in vineyards, and I do love wine, so I'm not going to complain. So because of this, we've been working with the farmers, who are, by the way, fantastic guys. They're great guys. They let us run this silly race across their property every year. Always be cool. If you see somebody working in the vineyards, if you see someone driving equipment, get out of their way, smile and wave and say thank you. You're on their property. Keep that in mind. Anyway, about halfway down off the top of Candy, it's been all tore up and it is vineyards. Anybody that ran last year saw this. The vineyards are established, so now we have a brand new route that keeps us to the edge of the vineyard. You're going to go west and stay to the edge of the vineyard. You're going to drop down the hill, and then we've cut in a brand new trail in the gully about halfway down. You'll get into this wonderful little single track. And it was Ben, if you know Ben locally, who did 90% of the work on the Silly Trail. But there's also some really cool glacial erratics. If you know anything about geology and you're a dork like me, you know that these glacial erratics were rafted down in the big ice age floods 10, 12,000 years ago. And they're basically chunks of granite that came from Canada and Montana and Idaho. And they got flooded down here, and they're not from here. So if you see a big hunk of granite, especially on that trail, that single track trail on the backside of Candy, stop and say hi, because it got deposited here a bazillion years ago in a giant flood. And it's pretty freaking cool. If you ask me, I'm a rock nerd. So the trail goes right by a bunch of these erratics. And so we've named it the Erratic Trail. It's fun. You're going to love it. If you haven't seen it yet, Joe, you're going to love it. Ben is also a dork, and Joe says the trail is awesome. Nicole says the backside of Candy has a barky dog. Don't know if she'll be out on race day. Odds are it's probably one of the guys that works in the vineyard. I've never seen a dog back there. If so, on race day, let me know. The thing about dogs is there's really never been any dog issues on this course. But for running in general, I've been chased and attacked by dogs. Make yourself really big and loud, and that generally scares the dog off. Turning around and running away is not the right thing to do. So I don't think you're going to see any dogs. Again, if you do, then let me know, and I know who to get a hold of to tell them to get their dog under control. Let me see. Who else has got a question? Christy has to leave. Have an amazing race, runners. See you at Jacob's Aid Station. Excellent. And thank you. Anybody else have any other questions about the race? Am I missing anyone? Hummus, turkey, avocado, wraps. Yes, the food will be basically the same food that we had last year. Grilled cheese, quesadillas. I don't know if Jack will be making hamburgers again. I'm not sure. Lance says the opportunity to drop is just a sadistic trap conceived by the worst race director ever. Oh, thank you. That's so much. That's fun. Any snakes? I didn't see any today. I saw some lizards. There's cute little lizards. They're awesome. It's usually too early. Snakes generally don't show up until April. I don't know if anybody's ever seen one on during the race. I've seen lots of snakes on Badger. Most of the time they're just gopher snakes. They're bull snakes. They're not venomous. There are, of course, rattlesnakes, but I don't think you're going to see any. And if you do, they're so cold that they're just trying to enjoy the sun. So run around them. Say hi, snake. Ben says, please elaborate on the Swedish fish situation. We will have Swedish fish at the aid station, of course. I will set aside a bag for you. And the porta potty rules are don't sleep in them, no matter how windy or cold it gets, because that has happened. So make sure that you keep your porta potty visit brief. If you want a nap, you can do it behind the porta potty. I don't recommend it, but no sleeping in the porta potties. And that's a rule in all my races, because there's nothing worse than waiting for the porta potty and realizing the guy's not coming out. Okay, where are we? Any other questions? Anybody else? Oh, yeah. Chris says, make sure you smile big when you see the 4 photographers. We have 4 race photographers this year, and they are amazing. They're all wonderful. So tell them thank you, smile, and they will have their photos posted usually a week or 2 after the event. We'll have all the pictures up and posted on the webpage, and they're free. And Photo Ruby is an amazing photographer, and he is once again organizing all the pictures and putting them out there for all the runners to see. Oh, we got to go through another raffle. My bad. See, I get to talking too much. Number 51. Who is runner number 51? That would be Colin Miller from BC, one of our prior course winners. He won the 100 miler before. He's got a $25 gift card to Costa Vida. So you can go ahead and after you run your race, Colin, you can have $25 worth of tacos. So that would be amazing. You can pick that up at Packet Pickup. Let me see here. Oh, Darren mentioned the warming tent at the finish. Yes, that will be set up again, of course. The warming tent, I don't recommend you going into unless you are hypothermic, like legitimately, or you finish the race and you're waiting for a ride. If you are turning around to head back out to go on and finish your 100 miler, don't go in the warming tent. There's a lot of gravity in there and you won't come back out. It's very warm and there's chairs and there's people in there talking and bantering, and I guarantee you won't leave. So stay out of the warming tent, clean up your feet, get some soup, and get the heck out of Dodge. Joe is asking if the beer fairy will make a reappearance. Oh, I hope not. Yes, I hope so. Yeah, he ought to be there. I think he will be there at the finish line. It depends on if he's still awake or not. But yeah, the beer fairy, I believe, is making a return appearance. Emergency bathroom breaks. Yes, those happen. Dig a hole. Don't leave your paper in it. I didn't bring that as a prop. Not that you want to see it, but what you do is you find yourself a badger and never mind. You get a plastic baggie and you put your toilet paper in it and you put it in your pack. And if you have to do your business, you dig a hole, you do your business and you cover it, but you put the paper back in the plastic baggie, put the plastic baggie in a pocket that doesn't have food in it. Go to the aid station, get yourself some hand sanitizer. Don't touch anything because you're disgusting. Tell them what you want for food, and they will give you the food, and you go on your merry way. Don't litter. Don't throw the paper. Again, this is the desert. Take the paper with you. When you get to the aid station, you can drop it in the garbage can because it'll be in a little handy plastic baggie. So, pro tip, always carry toilet paper with you in a sandwich baggie. It does wonders. But yeah, you can dig a hole, leave your business. Anyway, let's move on. Stephanie says she likes using poles on McBee. So, Dan asks how useful are poles. They are useful on McBee. Lots of people have them with their McBee drop bag. They pick them up at their McBee drop bag and they use them going up the hill because it is a heck of a climb. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but it's steep. So you're going to go up 1,000 feet, and when you get to the top, there's a nice spot to dump your poles. And this is not a flat course by any means. The 50 miler has close to 9,000 feet of climbing, but there's not a lot of consistent climbing. You're constantly just rolling up and down hills. You don't need your poles on Badger. Poles would be nice on the backside of Candy, but there's really no need to carry them. That means you're carrying them down Jacobs Road. So I recommend poles for McBee if you like to use them. You can leave your poles at the top, and then you can pick them back up before you come back down the single track, and you can leave them at your drop bag again. That's a really nice thing you can do on this course. But McBee is the only place because it's steep where you're really going to need poles. The rest of it, there's some big climbs, but the monstrous climb really is just McBee itself. Otherwise, you're just going to be carrying them a lot because half this course is runnable and the other half is not. Okay. Slow and steady all day, all night. You're right, Tom. Go out slow, be steady. Everybody who's run this course the first time, when they get to the finish, they always say the same thing to me. They always say that was way harder than I expected. And there's a reason why everybody says that, because it's way harder than people expect. It's deceptively tough. It's a deceptively hard course. So anybody else have any other questions? Okay. If not, I think we might be wrapping things up here. Oh, we got one more prize. I've got to do my random number generator again one more time. And we've got 253 is my final prize. Let's go to number 253. And that is Justin James from Ferndale, Washington. You got a $50 gift card to Runner Soul, the best shoe store in town. So when you're here, you can hit Runner Soul and get yourself some lovely merch. So there you are. That's the raffle prizes. So unless anybody else has any other questions, I think we're about finished listening to me run my mouth. For those of you that don't know what the quad is if you run all 4 of the races, 15K, 55K, 50 mile, 100 mile, any order, any year, you earn yourself the quad jacket. It's much coveted, and we've got a record number of people qualifying for the quad jacket this year. Yep, I do have your jacket, Derek. I believe there's 17 people getting their jacket. Last year, I think there were 6 or 7. But I think we have 17 people getting their jacket this year. It's pretty amazing. So, and there's Rich. He got his jacket, I believe, last year he earned his. But yeah, if you want to do the quad, you have to finish all 4 races. If you're doing the 50, 55K combo race, that applies obviously towards half the quad. The ruck event, if you do the 15K ruck or 50-mile ruck, that also counts as one of the distances too, because there's no way it wouldn't. So I think that might be it. I said that already. Okay. I think we might be wrapping it up. Remember, when you are in residential areas, especially around Badger Mountain, make sure that you are not loud if you're there in the middle of the night. It's a neighborhood, and most of them are supporters of the race. Some of them aren't. So please be cool and don't be loud. No yelling, no horn honking, any of that stuff. If you want to sleep in your car, that's cool, but try and keep it down because we are in a neighborhood. So, all right. I don't think anybody else has any other questions. So thank you all for tuning in. We got 5 days until race day. So everybody that's running it, get some sleep. If you're volunteering, thank you in advance. Also get some sleep. I think that's it. Everybody's done. Okay. 1 hour. Thank you. And I will see you at the races.